So Leon Edwards took on Gunnar Nelson this weekend. Last weekend. Yesterday, he took on Gunnar Nelson. And he did a damn good job. I'm not that impressed. I did pick Gunnar Nelson to win. I thought he was going to get it done by submission. And to be fair to him, he had some moments where I thought his game plan was going to come into effect. But Leon Edwards out-grappled Gunnar Nelson in the first round. It was a close round, but I gave it to Leon Edwards. Then we're coming into the second round. Leon Edwards, to be honest with you, it was a bit of a stalemate of a fight. Gunnar wanted to lunge in and land something, but he knew that Leon Edwards was going to be looking to counter when they got in the clinch. And let's just say, Leon Edwards' clinch work is dangerous. It is very dangerous for anyone. For anyone, it's dangerous. And I think that Leon Edwards landed a beautiful elbow on Gunnar Nelson. I thought he could have finished the fight there and then, but Gunnar Nelson showed what a savage he is by surviving. Leon Edwards cracks him with an elbow. I think broke his orbital bone, because it immediately, as soon as he landed it, just a fucking inflation of bone on the side of his face. It was weird how quickly that came up. But yeah, I don't think it was impressive enough. Leon Edwards said himself going into this fight, I need to finish on Gunnar Nelson to get my way. If I want to fight, I want to get a finish over Gunnar Nelson. That's what he said before the fight. He needs to finish over Gunnar Nelson. He could have had the finish. He could have been urgent in the third round. He decided to wait back and get a decision. I know that it's still impressive that he beat Gunnar Nelson by decision. I know that. But when you're the UFC brass, and you're these big fat white guys sitting behind their desks going, where are we making our money? You're not making your money off the promotion that a guy just won a decision. And at the end of the fight, he was getting mounted by Gunnar Nelson. Remember, at the end of the fight, Gunnar Nelson was in full mount over Leon Edwards. If they had any time left in that round, who knows what would have happened? If there was another minute of that fight, who knows? Gunnar Nelson could have whipped up an armbar. He could have landed those brutal elbows like he did against Alex Cowboy Oliveira. Either way, Leon Edwards won, and it was impressive. And then he went 1-1 because he lost backstage against Jorge Masvidal, who just fucking cracked the shit out of him. Because Leon Edwards is walking backstage saying, "Oh, shut up, man. You don't want to fight. You don't want to fight." And then Gamebred's like, "Say it to my face." Walks over to him with his hands behind his back. Leon Edwards does this. That's all it takes. That's all it takes. Leon Edwards puts his hands up like they're going to square off. That's all it takes for Jorge. Bang, 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 bang. Hadouken! 5-punch combo on Leon Edwards' face. He took more damage, and I said this in my other video, he took more damage in 2 seconds from Jorge Masvidal than he did in an entire fight against Gunnar Nelson. Facts. Facts. That is weird to say, but it's very true. I don't think Leon Edwards is going to get the Jorge Masvidal fight, although he might do. Because also, if I'm the fat white people behind the UFC desk, I'm thinking, right, where do we make our money? Violence. Violence backstage. Crime. Crime backstage. ESPN just covered this, like, all over it. ESPN was all over this moment. That's our next fight. That's what they're going to do. That's what they're going to do. I think most likely Leon Edwards is going to get a fight against Jorge Masvidal next for a number one contender spot. Or Jorge Masvidal is going to choose to wait a little bit. You know? He's just going to choose to wait it out. And if Colby loses to Usman, he's got his shot against Usman. Honestly. Because the way I see it is, the rankings are going to be like this. Jorge, I think, is going to go all the way up to number 3. Darren, because the only person who could take Jorge's space would be Wonder Boy. But Jorge beat Darren Till brutally. Darren Till's going to go down to number 4. Stephen Thompson's going to go down as well because Darren Till beat Wonder Boy. That's just going to be how it works. Although if Stephen Thompson wins this weekend, then he's probably going to go up. Actually, I don't know how the rankings are going to go. But either way, I think there might be a fight between Leon Edwards and Jorge Masvidal coming up. And I'm looking forward to it, boys. I really am. Good performance by Leon Edwards. But just not emphatic enough where he's forced, where now the UFC are like, okay, we have to give this guy what he wants, you know? If he went out there and that elbow landed on Gunnar Nelson and then pounded him unconscious and stood up and started doing like some cutting shapes in a ring or some shit, the UFC are going to be like, okay, whatever he wants, let's do it. Let's do it. This guy's our new UK guy. Now Darren Till just got knocked out in the second round, brutally. Also, I have to say this because I say it in every video. Darren Till, move up in weight. Learn from Robert Whittaker, please. I'm begging you. Anyway, back to Leon Edwards. Very good performance. Striking was good, but I just feel like sometimes he's not too urgent. And I think a guy who can put the pressure on him a bit more, like an RDA, like a Ponzinibbio, like a Colby Covington, like an Usman. And remember, he's lost to Usman before and got dominated, kind of. I'm gonna go with all those guys who can put the pace on him, because Leon Edwards doesn't like the pace. He's like Wonder Boy. He likes to keep his own little style, you know. He likes to have his own pace where, okay, you don't do anything unless I do something. I'm just gonna move around, dart around the ring, land when I can, outpoint you, and I'm gonna win this on decision. But when there's guys like Colby and Usman who get in your fucking face and grind you against the cage, you can't play your game. You're playing their game now, and they make you play their game. So yeah, interesting times at welterweight. There's been a huge shift this weekend, I'll tell you that much. Interesting stuff. And also for Gunnar Nelson, I don't know what's next. I really don't know what's next. Who are they going to give Gunnar Nelson next? Probably a young up-and-comer. Gunnar Nelson was ranked number 13. He's probably going to go down to 15. Give him one of these promising up-and-comers. See if he can finish him. See if he can get a win back. Or see if you can give one of these young up-and-comers a chance. We've got a few guys coming up at welterweight right now. We've got Zaleski Dos Santos coming up. We've got Tony Rocco Martin coming up. We've got another guy who I can't remember the name of coming up, but he's coming up. There's a lot of guys. We've got Mike Perry, who just keeps losing, but he's funny, so the UFC is going to keep giving him big fights. So maybe they give him to Gunnar. Who knows? They're both coming off loss. That's actually good. They're both coming off losses. Mike Perry versus Gunnar Nelson. That would be the co-main event of a fight night any day. I'd take that fight. Gunnar Nelson versus Mike Perry. Let's do it. Who cares if Mike Perry's trash and he loses every other fight? He's funny. Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's have some fun. Let's just turn the UFC into a giant fucking shit show, because we're all eating shit sandwiches out here at the moment. Like and subscribe. Thanks for watching. And subscribe and like as well. And maybe like and subscribe.